So there are two critical components to writing a really good pop punk riff. One is a super fast rhythm, and two is a super catchy melody. And I'll break that down in this video and show you a step-by-step process on how to start incorporating those two components into the next riff that you create. By the end of this video, you'll be one step closer to writing riffs like this, or like this, or like this. Let's go write a riff. Alright, so let's get into it. First thing you want to do is set your BPM. I'm going to set mine to about 180. And with any subgenre of punk rock, the goal really is to be as fast as shit. You just want to be as fast as possible. The faster the better. So let's set that at 180. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to load in my MIDI bass and my MIDI drums. So for my MIDI bass, I like to use Submission Audio's Punk Bass. So this one sounds really good. It's really easy to use. There's a lot of tones you can get from it. And what I like to do is I like to hook this up to the Neural DSP Parallax. Then you can get some really juicy bass tones with this. And the preset that I like to start off with is this one. And so that's the bass. And for the drums, I like to use Easy Drummer. Again, extremely, as the name implies, easy to use. And yeah, here we have our instruments. All right, now that we've got our instruments loaded, the next order of business is to lay down a bass line. So I'm gonna go over to the piano roll here, and I'm gonna choose my key. To keep things simple, I'm going to choose the key of C. And I'm going to go with a 1-6-4-5 progression. So 1-6-4-5. And I'm going to keep these eighth notes because if I think back to how Mark Hoppus used to play in the 90s, he just played fast as fuck eighth notes all the time. So that's the goal here. So this sounds something like this. I don't like how high these notes are, so I'm going to put these down an octave, see how that sounds. Yeah, that sounds better. Yeah, I like that better. So yeah, that's the bass line. All right, that's the bass part. Let's put some drums to it. So I'm going to come over here to Easy Drummer. I'm going to go over to Grooves, and I'm just going to choose a stock groove. And what I'd usually do in a lengthier songwriting process is I'd start with a stock groove and I'd use the groove editor over here to make edits necessary as the song changes and to adapt the groove to the song. So I'd usually do that, but for the sake of keeping it simple for this video, let's just go with a stock groove. So I'm going to copy paste this right here. And let's see what that sounds like. This is already a song. Done. Cool, yeah, I mean, that's the drums. So we've got bass, we've got drums. Now all that's left in the rhythm section is the rhythm guitar. And before we get into it, I just want to point out the little bit of change that you might have noticed here. I went through and color-coded a few things, grouped some things to organize so that you guys can follow along a little bit better as we move along this video. And the other thing that you'll notice is that I've pre-recorded my guitars. My recording setup here at home does not allow me to record guitar and voice at the same time, so this is how we're going to do things. So that being said, in terms of rhythm guitar, where you want to start is this bass progression that you put down earlier. And what you want to do, very simply, is just play power chords over these notes. So a C power chord, an A power chord, an F power chord, and a G power chord. And that sounds something like this. And that sounds pretty good. But it is still a little bit basic. So what if we added a little bit of hop, a little bit of energy, a little bit of, more punk rock to it? And that could sound something like this. that is prime for a melody, which is what we're going to go on to next. So we've established the bass, we've established the drums, we've established the rhythm guitar. Now all that's left to do is to establish the ever elusive melody, which could take anywhere from 10 seconds to create to 10 fucking years. It could be easy, it could be hard, no one knows. So that being said, let's get into it. You want to go into your bass progression from earlier, and you want to identify the root note, which in our case is C. And with that identified, you want to find the major scale associated with it. So the C major scale sounds like this. We've all heard the fucking major scale. But you want to take note of the notes within that major scale and find a combination that is unique to you, that sounds good to you, and that you connect with. And easier said than done. So one thing that I really recommend is to go listen to songs that you really like with really good melodies, and to bring those melodies back and to emulate them in this framework. And I guarantee you'll be able to come up with some really creative things. And with that, here's an example of a really simple melody using the notes from the major scale. And that sounds really good, but it's still pretty basic. What if we pushed it a little bit further? What if we added some flourishes here and there? What if we added a little bit of rhythmic variance? What could that sound like? Maybe something like this. And you could take this, you could take it 5, 10, 15 levels beyond this, make it as complex as you'd like. You could add shreddy parts, you could add tippy-tappy parts, whatever you'd like with it. You could even go even simpler than this, strip it down, make it as simple as possible. And that's the beauty of punk rock, is that no one cares about complexity. You can make it as simple as possible. This isn't prog rock, this isn't metal. No one's judging you based on how fast you can play the guitar. And what people really care about is if it sounds good. And what makes it sound good is that fast rhythm and that catchy melody. And so I'm gonna show you guys one more riff here as an example. And this is one that's also derived from the major scale, from the C major scale, and something that I've been tweaking for literally over a decade. And it goes like this. Alright, I think that's the end of the video. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found this helpful. I'm continuing to make more videos in the future, so keep tuning in. Thanks.